Three, two, one. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and I'm breathing heavy in the mic. It's Storytime Live, episode 66. You know what that is? That's a pack of gummy bears. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. Kind of scrambling in the background to get everything running. Let's see. Who's number one? Lord is first. Lord almighty, what is wrong? What is going on? Where is Melissa? I haven't seen her in a while. Hope she's doing okay. Dragon Majesty is second, and Comics, Games, and Cards is third. I don't think I recognize that name, so welcome to the chat. Sorry. I'm trying to do stuff behind the scenes. Not make a bunch of noise in your ears. That's what the muting goes on there. Zach Richmond is also in the house. Maranya is here to heal him. I didn't skip you, buddies. Let's see, Eric Breen. And Comics Corks with Jimmy. Dragon Majesty. RDV. The real Dr. Venkman, except no substitutions. And I think that is all the unique names that I see. Doing what we normally do. Running off the chat, the top, it says, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, says Dragon. I appreciate if you do. If you hit the thumbs down, you know, that's your prerogative. All I ask, I guess, is if you do want to hit the thumbs down, by all means, but maybe consider leaving suggestions on how to be better if you're not liking what you're seeing. Or just, you know, saying why you didn't like it, so at least I know. People saying, I don't like your stream. Okay, I can't change course or direction, know what to do different if I don't have feedback. Let's see. Happy unfirst day. I don't know what that means, but Tehillim said it. Hey there, long time no see, everyone's from Maranya. Hey kid, says Eric. You know, because from Eric's perspective, everyone's a kid, so that was an old joke. Let's see. Tehillim says, you were also on my channel recommendations list. Super Sun's live stream is in need of a third person. Comic Boom went back to Dark Knight Nation. Uh-oh. Sounds like there's trouble in paradise over there. Did Comic Boom, he went back to the... That's not, the way that comment sounded is just like, you know, when someone's having an affair, it's like, he went back to his wife. I know that's not what that was, but that is what it made me think of. Eric says, because he's inviting Tehillim to stream with him, because he streams with everybody, just not me. That's the running gag here. I wouldn't be able to hold my end on a Super Sun stream. Now, why is that, Eric? Why? Out of all, you read more comics than anyone I know, and I know RDV. He reads quite a bit. Why do you not know Super Sons? That's something you should have read. What else? Zach Richmond says, right? I don't even remember you wanting to kick me from your stream. I guess sometimes I can't follow the conversations. I guess someone was wanting to kick someone from a stream. Even Jimmy doesn't know what he's talking about. He says, I have no idea what you're talking about. Venkman says, Zach loves Bendis. Zach hates Bendis. They're having I don't know. Moving on. It's like Pacific Rim, where there are the two pilots and the giant mech. One of us must be in control. Which one depends on the day. No, that's not how the pilots in Pacific Rim work. Did you even watch the movie? That's not how. One's not in control. No. Let's see. Make sure to give Ash a big old thumbs up. Zach Richmond says again. I like that. Or maybe do what we did on Nightwolf stream. Don't know what that's all about. Read the Ghost Rider book. Says comics, games, and cards. Well, these are what you're seeing on the screen. There is the sales page on Comixology, and I was just gonna peruse and see what they had on sale, because sometimes you get some really good sales and deals. But Ghost Rider is really not my jam, especially this new Ghost Rider. He looks really freaky. But let me get through the comments here real quick. Leave the scrambling for some eggs, Ash. What kind of ways do you guys like your eggs? I'm kind of a fried over easy person. Got to have the soft yolk, and preferably so you can soak it up with the toast, or you can put it on English muffin and it runs all over it. But scrambled eggs are pretty good from time to time. Pretty much I like eggs every way, actually. I love hard-boiled eggs. I like poached eggs. I like them all. Sunny side up is probably my least favorite. What else? Poor Zach. He is Delcian. Come on, Lord. Come on. You ain't got $5 to spend on yourself for the video? Says comics, games, and cards. Well, let me throw this back. You ain't got $5 to spend on my video? I take donations. Yeah. But the goal here is for me I don't make money on my videos. My goal is also not to spend money to entertain you. If people aren't going to pay me to entertain them, that's fine. But for me to buy books to read for them, that's not really the way it should work. But I appreciate that. Comics, games, and cards. And like I said, Ghost Rider is not my jam. But if someone were to donate a comic, then that one might be reconsidered. Looks like they're still doing a sale on Hulk. What else we got going on here? Witcher sales. DC Batman sales. You know what's funny? DC sales are always more expensive. Like it's $5.99 for the DC comics, but the Marvel books, $2.99. It's because Marvel's books don't sell. People just don't care. They're more collectible. Like the collectors like Marvel better, but when it comes to just reading stories, especially stories that aren't today, like came out today type thing, like it's like, oh, that's a few weeks ago. Marvel stories are like they're just like a bad car. Like it's like, I'm trying to think of which car company is like one of the worst. It used to be, it used to be Hyundai's, right? Hyundai's really changed their company around to become decent cars. But like the kind where it's like you buy the car and you drive it off the lot, you've like already lost half the value. You can't resell it. Marvel comics remind me of that in a way. It's like a month after the book is out, unless it's for some collectible reason, no one gives a shit about these books. They're just trash. paper liner for your bird cage. But DC's putting out good stories people enjoy, so they can actually ask for money on their trade paperbacks, and people will buy them. Let's see, Boys. They're still on sale of Boys. However, I'm gonna give a shout out real quick. If you are interested in buying The Boys, this Comixology sale, it's decent. You're getting some good books for a good price. But if you go over to Humble Bundle for $15, you can get, I believe it's like 9 volumes. You get like over 20 trade paperbacks. It's not just The Boys. There's other Dynamite books. It's like the Superpowers stuff. $15, you get a shit ton. Or you can get the first 2 volumes and a couple other books for $1. So that's Humble Bundle is the place to go. It's got 10 days left in the sale. I just checked. So if you're looking to buy some comics cheap, that's where I would go. But once that sale's over, it's tough, man. When it's such a good deal that I look at this and go, man, $5, that's too much. But it's still pretty good. What else? Toss a coin to your storyteller, says Zach. I really don't like that song, by the way. Does anyone watch The Witcher? I had like a love-hate relationship with that show. Like Henry Cavill did a fantastic job as Geralt, but man, that minstrel that they cast, that I don't know if it's the actor's fault. I think it's the showrunners and the director. I hate that character. I hate that character so much. I just want him to get eaten by a monster so bad. Annoys the crap out of me. But they did a fantastic job on Geralt, and Yennefer, the girl that plays Yennefer, does a really good job too. Comics, Games, and Cards says, somebody buy Ash something better than Ultimate Spider-Boy. Well, like I said, you reach into the pockets. No, I don't want to solicit that. That's not anything I've really done here. Let's see. It says next time I'll send a $3 super chat. I don't get super chats. I'm not at super chat level. YouTube has not deemed me worthy, so I couldn't. And besides, you got to consider something. When you guys send super chats on a channel, YouTube takes 30% of that. So if you give someone like, let's just say you gave them a $10 super chat, you're really only giving them a $6 super chat. Like, I know that's -4, but there's taxes and what's going on over there? Anyways, that's really sucks. YouTube just is taking their money. Zach says the minstrel is one of the best parts. Oh my God, Zach, you and I can no longer be friends. What the hell? Zach says, I tried watching The Boys. I felt like I had to scrub my eyes clean after every episode. Well, I mean, yeah, if you like the minstrel on The Witcher, they're like polar opposites. But I hear you, actually. I almost did not finish the first season of The Boys because it was so grim. It was so, like, just dark and bleak. And I like dark, grim stories, but I like there to be some shining beacon of hope in there. You can have the whole world just be, just like I said, grim. I'm trying to think of adjectives, but I can't. But if there's no hope, if there's nothing to look forward to, if there's no character to like, it just gets like, it's just depressing. I want to shoot myself in the face. But I'm glad I finished it, because the last 2 episodes of that first season I thought redeemed the show for me. And the new season just started recently. I'm 3 episodes in, and I'm liking the second season better. Like I feel like they got past the shock value of like that first season. Just like all the stuff that happening, you're like, what the hell? And now they're like, yeah, we can't just keep doing that because the shock's worn off. And so now they're telling some interesting plot lines. And the guy Homelander is a crazy crazy villain. Like, I love Homelander's. Like, I love hating him. Like, I hate him, but I love to hate. Like, he's like, what if Superman were bad? Like, what would you do? I like how the show tells this sort of, it tells like not an allegory, but it's like a metaphor for celebrity, and, you know, what celebrity does to people. And if, you know, if we lived in a world where people had superpowers, you know, they would be way more, they would have way more celebrity than actual celebrities do, you know, because they're just actors. So I think it's pretty fascinating, these stories that they tell. And I like that there's a couple of the super characters that, you know, maybe have some good in them. We'll see. I'm into it. It's not the best show I've ever seen, but as far as superhero shows, if you can call it that, because they're not really heroes, but as far as comic book, you know, superpower type capes, that's the best one on TV, in my opinion. I can't watch the CW cornball stuff. Let's see. Lord says The Witcher was not bad. That's true. The Witcher wasn't bad, but neither was it really good. It did some good things. And it did some like I swear, man, when they introduced that minstrel and then he didn't go away, I was like, oh God, no. Every time he's in an episode, I'm like, oh, this show is lame. So lame. Lord says, I like the minstrel suffering. I don't want him necessarily to suffer. He just doesn't add to the show. He just makes me cringe and go, this is cornball. Like, I feel like I'm watching an MTV, you know, a show made for MTV. Like, it's just very teenager-y, like, silly Billy, look at the the minstrel guy. He makes silly jokes. And it just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting old, but I like my drama serious, and I like it to feel kind of real and not like it's just dumb though. That minstrel, I look at that character and I'm in this world and he just doesn't fit in this world. I'm like, this guy would have been dead years ago. Like, why is this guy even alive? Like, he doesn't fit in this world where everyone's butchering everyone and he's running around pissing everyone off, but he doesn't have any. The only reason he's alive is because Geralt protects him. It's like, I don't know. I'm done talking with him. Zach says, dang, Ash, first Jimmy, now you. The hate is real. For the minstrel, the hate is real. Lord says, truthfully, I like seeing all humanity suffering. Well, I guess that includes you, so you must be some sort of masochist. That's a pretty awful thing to say. I hate seeing anyone suffer, much less all humanity. If we all pitch in $1 a week, we can get Ash to read Batman No Man's Land to us. Wow, that'd be fun. Yeah, I would do that if I was getting some money out of it or getting something. But as long as I'm footing the bill, I'm making the choices. I'm in the pilot seat. Zach says, I will say Homelander is a really good villain. Like a superpowered Joffrey from Game of Thrones. Yeah, I guess there is some similarity. Joffrey was just completely psychotic, though. Like, he was way even more. Homelander has a sense of, like, you can tell, like, at times, like, Homelander knows what to say and what's right. But what I think makes him such a great villain is that it's the same thing I love about Doctor Doom. He doesn't just think that he's better than other people. He knows he's better than other people. Think about this. If you had all the powers of Superman in today's world, would you be humble? Would you just be like, no, I need to devote my time for the good of humanity and help people all the time? Or would you use your powers to basically correct all the stupidity that you see in the world, right? Would you, whatever it is, I'm not going to get into the politics of things, but you look out in the world today and just go, oh my God, this stupid shit that's going on, whatever it is, whether you like hate ISIS or you're not happy with the current president who's in charge or just anything, like you would just go and just end it. Just, or make it go with the way you wanted the world to be. I think most people would be like that. Most people would use these powers for selfish motives. And I think that's what makes Superman such a great hero, is when you tell stories not of him defeating villains, but of him resisting that and actually being a true, paragon of the people and a servant, if you will. Like, he couldn't really exist because humanity is just way too corruptible, but it's fun to read as a fictional character because it lets us aspire to be better than we are. But Homelander is more of like what would really be, especially if you grew up in a lab. Like, think about that too. I think that's a cool thing about his character, is the more you realize that his messed up views of the world have a lot to do with, he had sort of the opposite upbringing of Clark Kent. Like, he didn't have this wholesome Kent family with good old American values and teaching him, like, he was raised by doctors and scientists in a lab, and that, like, never learned empathy or compassion, never had it shown to him. He was just a lab rat, and he's a lab rat now that can kill pretty much anyone on the planet. Like, he's ultimate power. So, let's see. Ultimate Spidey is suffering for us as comics, games, and cards. No. What you should have said is Ultimate Spidey is making us suffer, because we have to suffer through reading. I don't know, he's not suffering. If I had a choice, I'd vote for going back to reading Invincible, says Maranya. Well, I'm just going to point out that those books are there. Like, you could go pick them up and read them. It's kind of what I was hoping to do with this. Part of the motivations of this show is not to read every issue of a book to you, but maybe like to give you a sampling. It's kind of how I justify, violation of whatever copyright laws I'm probably violating, by reading books like this. Is, yes, I'm giving you, I'm reading out books that you can see the stories and have them read to you and not have to buy the books, but a partial. And hopefully, like with the case of Birthright, and what was it? Was it Ed? Who was it that? No, it wasn't Ed. God, I'm feeling. Man, I'm blanking on the name because my memory is so bad. Eric, who am I forgetting? He was I haven't seen him in a while. Was a regular to the show. I hope he's doing okay, actually. He was having some medical issues. I should reach out to him, but I can't remember his name. I'm drawing a blank. So many usernames I run across. Anyways, he went and bought every volume of Birthright because he enjoyed it so much. And that's kind of what I was hoping to do, is like spread that enthusiasm. Let's see. Eric says, if I had superpowers, I'd use them to get Ash back to 700 subs. I don't know if there's any powers in the world that could do that, Eric. Artie says, wow, I guess I had to refresh. Didn't know Ash was live. I hate YouTube. It's the Bendis of social media. Yes. Dane, thank you. Skip and Tosh shows up out of nowhere. God, that's like oh man, there was a really awesome book that I was reading later. No, I'm tongue tied. I can't remember which comic it was, but it was a great story. And then there was the scene where one of the heroes comes out. You thought they weren't around, or and comes to save the day. That's what Skip does. And my complete lack of eloquence here has just blown it. But thank you, Skip, for showing up out of the blue and giving us Dane Barrett. Yes, Dane, good guy, regular to the channel, but I haven't seen him in a while. I'm going to reach out to him. Hopefully he's doing okay. Let's see. Comics, games. That's really hard to say, by the way. Comics, games, and cards. Oh man, I know it's probably the name of your YouTube channel, but you gotta gotta have a name like Jimmy, right? We started calling Jimmy because Comics Quirks was weird. It was weird to say, so now I just call him Jimmy. RDV says, "Did you mention my earlier comment?" I don't know. You had a bunch of comments, RDV, so I mentioned some of them. Let's see. No East of West yet. Skipped. Says Skip. No, not yet. Buy Ghost Rider to read to us when we can all. Buy Ghost Rider to read to use. We can all hit like. I don't even know what. I'm guessing you're saying buy Ghost Rider to read to you. I don't know if you understand how this works. I'm not making any money on my YouTube channel. So for me to buy comics to read to you, you buy comics to read to you. Or you can buy comics for me to read to you. But I don't buy comics to read. I do buy some actually, but they're more for myself. If I had Superman powers, I would move to Mars. I think Mars would be a very desolate, lonely place. I would not want to be there. Haha, I'm like Randy Orton, skipping Tosh out of nowhere. By God. I don't know how I'm supposed to say that because I'm like the only person that's a comic fan who doesn't like wrestling for some. I feel like an outcast. I don't know what the deal is with comic fandom today and pro wrestling, but it's like they're intertwined. But Skip, it is good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Glad to see you in the chat. Skip's a really good guy. He is actually the inspiration of this whole show thing that I do here. He has a Twitch channel where he's reading comics live, and he does a lot better than I do, where he can actually read a comment and pay attention to the chat. I'm not able to do it like that. Let's see. Time to put Crypto Comics channel on. All right. Well, I don't know what to respond to that. Let's see. I'm not a wrestling fan either, says Zach. Never got the appeal. I did when I was young. When I was a teenager, like in junior high. In junior high till I think I got out of wrestling in my freshman year of high school. I moved on, but in my junior high years, I was big time pro wrestling. And I never like hated it. I just was like, okay, I'm just moving on to other things. But in the comic world, I have never seen such a like consistent crossover of fandoms. It's like, do you like comics? Yes, I love comics. Okay, I give it a 95% chance you're also a wrestling fan. And it shows like in the writing too. This is really true in like the professional side. Like the creators are all big time wrestlers. And I was making a comment on some of my I haven't done a video recently, but on my most recent videos, I've been talking about that because I'm starting to notice that the way that a lot of comics are written today are like wrestling matches. Like they don't understand how to actually write real dramatic physical conflict. So it's just all about treating all the comic characters. Like thinking of Marvel comics is more of not a world of superheroes, but a world of wrestlers. And you have faces and heels, and the characters, they sometimes change sides, like Doctor Doom was once the greatest villain, and now he's kind of a pseudo hero, right? So they do these like face turns and heel turns, and they're all fighting each other all the time. And it's not even about saving the world or fighting for virtue. It's just about like pro wrestling, about being the king of the ring. And it's just, let's see. Good to see you, brother Ash the Skip. Oh man, good to see you too. I'm glad you seem to be doing well. I hope you are. 2020 is the year of first. A new channel coming this December. Ash on Wrestling. Oh, man. Let's see. Oh, Ash. I read Gillen's Vader on Thinking Critical Twitch the other day. You might want to check it out. Got that voice FX going on. Oh, I do want to check that out. That's funny because writing in wrestling used to be better. Now it sucks worse than comics writing. Well, that's really bad, Skip, because comics writing can suck terrible. What the F? Ash lost a sub and took his sub. What? What are you talking about? What did I do? What did I mess up now? Oh, man. I can't win to save myself. I did hit 700, and then I dropped again. I think I'm at, what was I last? At 699 last I checked. I gotta have a gummy bear for Breen. This one's for you, buddy. It's a cherry one. It's good. Probably shouldn't chew gummy bears doing a live audio. RDV says, YouTube censored me. They censor a lot of people. Man, I was watching, I don't know if any of you guys watch Louder with Crowder. You probably don't, but I think he's got some funny stuff. And he was doing a live stream of the CNN, what was it? Some CNN interview with Biden happened today. And so I was like, oh, this would be good, seeing Biden on a live interview. But I'm like, of course, it's CNN, so it's all staged. It's going to be all fake. You know, they're just going to give him softball questions that he's already got pre-answers for. And sure enough, it was. And as I was watching it, YouTube took it down. Oh, man. We're living in a world, man, that it's going down. We're going to a dangerous spot. But YouTube shut his stream down just for making fun of Biden. Like, and did you, speaking of Biden, I don't want to go down the politics road, but did you hear that the Democrats have successfully fought to take the Green Party off the ballot? You can't make this shit up. Like, they are the fascist party of America, like in every way, shape, and form. Everything that defines what fascism is, the Democrats have become that. And they're even removing competitors off the ballot. So you can only vote for them. That's what they want. The irony of the Democrat Party wanting no choice in voting. But they have all the mainstream media spinning it for them. So America is convinced that they're the good guys because that's what all the media tells them. We're programmed. Skip says, that's weird. I'm registered as independent party. Whoa. Well, independent's not a real party. So as far as I'm aware, maybe there's a lot of parties out there, but I used to be registered as independent, and it just basically meant, like, I don't choose to align myself with any party. I choose to be a free thinker. And I would typically vote libertarian. Donald Trump is truthfully the first Republican presidential candidate I ever voted for. I always voted libertarian candidates previous to that. Let's see. Skip and Toss says, okay, subscribed with my other channel. You should be back to 700. Oh, well, what a fantastic guy. Look at that. Appreciate that. Hopefully I don't lose more. I need to start begging for people to make fake channels. Just prop me up. Oh, that's another thing. Speaking of fake channels, I just got some emails today on my Ash on Comics. You know, I have a Google account for the channel. And I'm starting to get spam from these, what do you call it? They're like, they sell views. So like the recent one I just got says, you have won 100 free YouTube views. Hello, dear friend. We have found your video on YouTube and wanted to let you know that we're doing free views on YouTube. If you're interested, reply to this email, and YT Fame, that's the name of this group, I guess, YT Fame, will reward you with 100 views on YouTube. By the way, we also have packages. Of course, everyone's got something to sell. The YT ranking pack. For $5, I can get 1,000 views and 50 video likes. Or I can pay $10 the YouTube ranking pack and get 2,500 views. Or their premium pack, the $25, I can get 7,000 views. What? Look, I get some people out there want to be YouTube stars. I've reconciled. I'm not a YouTube star. I'm just a schlub that likes comics, and I like talking with people about comics, and I've met interesting people online, and it's fun to do this and reach out and do this stuff. Like, but people, if anyone's honestly out there paying money to get fake views, that doesn't make you a star. Those aren't real. It's probably some Chinese slaves that are paid like $1 a day or a week or whatever their slave labor wages are out there. Someone's running a company to like just click on YouTube stuff. This is terrible. Not only do you not have any dignity yourself, but you're propagating exploitive slave labor, just to boost your ego. Just think of how sick that is. And if you don't think that's sick, I would say think on how sick that is, and then but you're probably not capable of it. So, anyways, oh yeah, those damn fake views. They mess with your channel visibility. Weird business. Yeah, I'm sure people use them. I mean, there's a reason why they exist. Zach Richmond says, sounds like they're trying to sell you the same treatment that they gave Brie Larson for free. Well, it's funny too. If you do use those type of services, inevitably YouTube cracks down, right? Because as much as YouTube is against free speech and, is pushing their own agenda, part of their agenda is actually having monetization be real. Like, they don't want to pay out monetization for people that, have bots watching their channel. So YouTube periodically does these cleansings, and you'll hear, whenever they do this, you'll hear especially the bigger channels will start bitching and be like, oh, I just lost 10,000 subs and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you never had those subs. Those were just bots, right? Like, those were, or they're people who abandoned their YouTube channel. They're not active. They aren't actually watching your video. So YouTube unsubscribed them or deleted the accounts or did something. And, to you on the surface, it looks like, oh my God, I'm getting screwed. And it's like, well, no. And it makes me wonder too, like, how many people that are bitching maybe have done this, maybe have paid for services like this. And then eventually that gets caught, and those subscribers that you paid to get all get removed. Anyways, Lord says, I think it's just bots. It might be. I think YouTube's probably more clever about the bots, but we'll see. RDV says, I will gladly watch your videos for $10 a week. Act now. I will pay you to watch my videos. Nope. That's what was his name? The comic guy, Comics, Games, and Cards, who was giving me shit about buying books to read to him, and then I guess I wouldn't, so he went over to another channel. All right, I'm sorry. I hope Crypto Comics is buying comics to read to you, perhaps. Anyways, for those of you that are here actually in good faith, I appreciate you. Let's look at Newsarama, one of the top news sites for comics. That was facetious. Let's see what they got. Should major publishers and creators be crowdfunding comics alongside independent and do-it-yourself creators? That's a good question. I don't see why major creators shouldn't be, right? Because just because you're a major creator doesn't mean you're a publisher. So if you want a book published and you don't have the money to do it yourself, you would need to crowdfund. So that seems like a simple answer. As far as publishers, I'm against publishers using crowdfunding. It's a free country, and as long as the crowdfunding site says it's not against their terms and services, then they obviously can do it, and it's up to them to do it. But as a consumer, I find it distasteful, because I understand the real reason that major publishers do this. And the reason is to increase their profit margins. And you might say, well, Hash, so that's what a business should do, right? Increase their profit margins. Technically, yes. But it's kind of a shady way, because crowdfunding is designed, the idea of crowdfunding came about of people saying, look, I have this idea, but I can't get investors to believe in me and give me money. So I'm going to go online, and instead of asking like a couple of rich people to give me a lot of money, I'll ask a bunch of regular people just to give me a few bucks. And if we can get enough people to do that, then we can fund the project, and it can become real, and my dream can be a reality. In the early days of crowdfunding, you didn't get rewards too much. Like, the rewards were like a thank you postcard, The early days of crowdfunding was very like beatnik, sort of like, hey, I got this cool thing. If you think it's a cool idea, chip in a couple dollars. And then people realized that they could offer perks, and then it sort of evolved and was like, hey, jump in on this thing and you'll get a kickback. You'll get the product before anyone else, or you'll get something special to incentivize. So it became less of a donation and more of like a transaction. And it's like, and for me, I used to fund a lot of Kickstarters for board games. I was a big board game fanatic. And you could see the same thing happened over there that's happening now in the comic book industry, where these, little grassroots guy makes a game in his garage or something, he wants to publish it, crowdfunds it, does it successful, and all of a sudden the actual board game publisher's like, we could do this. And the idea is, a board game, let's say a modern board game's like $60. They fluctuate various prices, but it's like a $60 board game. The game itself, the publisher makes it, and they might sell it to a distributor for $10. Well, I'm sorry. They may pay $10. That's not right. Let's say like they pay $750. They pay $750 to have the board game made, usually in China, they have it all made, $750. Then they sell it to the distributor for $15. So they just made $7.50 profit. The distributor then sells it to the retailer for $30, right? So the retailer just doubled their money, right? They got their profit. Now the retailer has to sell it to you, the end user, for double that. So now $60, that's where you get that $60 price tag, which that's been the way of retail in America and most of the civilized world for a long time. Everyone's got to get their cut. It's the middleman. Now imagine if you're a board game guy and you go, it costs us $750 to make this game, and we could sell it to the guy for $15 and get half our money back, or we could take that $750 investment and then sell it directly to the end user for $60. That's a way bigger profit margin. Plus, if you're a small industry like the hobby board game industry, same thing with the comics. If you're a small industry, a platform like Kickstarter gives you way more eyeballs, right? Indiegogo, same thing. Like, there's way more people shopping, and I use the term loosely on crowdfunding sites, shopping on Kickstarter and Indiegogo than there are going into comic book stores or board game stores. And so it changed the whole business model. So you started seeing all these companies doing that. And I think comic companies are trying to do that too. They're like, well, if I can, in comics, they can sell their books even higher. That's another thing that the board game industry couldn't do. Like, if you're like IDW, okay, I make this comic, I sell it, I get my pennies on the dollar or whatever, profits. Or instead of having that $3.99 comic, I can find a way to kickstart some limited edition, blah, 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 and find a way to charge like $20 for it. Not only do you get to $20, but you cut out all the middlemen. You've drastically increased your profits. So the reason I'm against this is precisely because it's just a way of exploiting the consumer to basically bilk them for as much money as possible on something, because that consumer thinks, this is going to be a special limited edition comic that no one's going to have, and I'll pay a premium for it. And all right, that's my answer. I don't even need to read Newsramas. What are you guys talking about? Let's see. I Am True Skills is here. What's up, man? I know a guy that paid to get 1,000 subs and got monetized. All right. Do you know how much he paid? That'd be interesting. RDV says Thor is officially dating She-Hulk. By the way, you bigot, she's just called Hulk. So you're a misogynist. It was confirmed as an official pairing by Marvel and Empire. I'm just shaking my head. Zach says, now Thor can just convince She-Hulk that he is the man in the relationship. Nah, I'm glad to have you guys around. You guys are funny. Board games, I've never had the patience to play them. Well, Lord, you don't seem like a guy with a lot of patience. No offense. You might be a really nice guy. Comics, Games, and Cards is back. Says I'm back. Had to check out X-Men Executioner Song story for a minute. Okay. I guess it was going somewhere. Brian Pulido and Billy Tucci put out a quality work and have proven them multiple times. New people I've never heard of scare me. I don't want to be scammed. Well, yeah, I mean, buyer beware. To me, it's not about necessarily who does the work, although that can matter. Like I did back Sean Murphy's project that he's doing. What's it called? Plot Holes. I just back the digital because I'm not paying $50 for a freaking comic. But number one, Sean Gordon Murphy's a proven commodity. Like I like everything that I've read that he's done. I love his art. He's a good writer. As I read more about what Plot Holes is about, I was like, oh, this actually sounds like a decent idea. And it was $10. And his project isn't like a lot of these Kickstarter things where it's like, we're selling you a 48-page graphic novel. I'm like, no, dude, that's 48 pages is not a graphic novel. That's a double-sized comic. It's a floppy. So that really annoys me. Oh, and how much is that book, by the way? Oh, it's yours for $25 plus $12 shipping and handling. I'm like, what? What? So you want me to pay you you want me to pay you $37 for your 48-page graphic novel? No. But I didn't have to pay any shipping and handling for the digital version, and it's $10, and I believe it's supposed to be like 160 pages. Like it's a true, like Sean Murphy is like a professional. He's not out there to scam people. Like the guy has a book. It's probably going to be about as long as a run as like an entire thing of the White Knight series. And yeah, I think for $10, I'm happy to see that guy, help his project. He's got the deluxe versions for people that do want to pay a premium for a product on that stuff. And I think he was doing it the way that I respected. So I was happy for that. And I hope the book turns out good. Let's see. Tehillim says, yeah, she looks a lot like Mark Ruffalo. Talking about She-Hulk. Oh, God. She-Hulk is just a mess. I Am True Skill says, why does She-Hulk look like a man now? Well, she's looked like a man for years. I don't know where you've been, True Skills, but this is not new. But the reason is because Marvel has gone completely woke, and feminist qualities are considered misogynist to recognize. And so in order to show that women are just as good as men, they need to make fictional women exactly like men. Because that shows us. So you're basically saying that women can only be good when they're men? Is that what you're saying? And that's supposed to teach me not to think, like, just they don't even understand. They don't even think through their own stupid social justice nonsense. Tehillim says Jane Foster, She-Thor, Hulk. That's one of the funniest things you've ever said, Tehillim. That was rad. They put your YouTube vid as a pop-up video ad on a free movie MP4 website, and it's online. Look up Pay for Views YouTube. But do people actually go to some website to look up other people's YouTube? That just seems stupid. That's counterintuitive. The best place to advertise your YouTube channel is on YouTube. I don't know. I don't even care. It's okay, Ash. I will not bury you. You can say what you want. Well, what happened, Lord? You used to have this mission to destroy me. Like, are you second guessing yourself? Are you coming around and feeling merciful towards me? That big India Bollywood YouTube channel pays for their subs. It's online. Well, I'm sure they do. Like, they're a big corporation. Of course, they're gonna pay for that stuff. I mean, that's what old school media does, right? That's why we have advertising. That's the reason why some schmo like me, theoretically, if he was better, could have a channel and monetize and get some ad revenue because other companies are willing to pay, including companies that make their own products. I think it's funny these days that commercials have commercials. If you go and watch like a YouTube channel, or if you go watch like a movie trailer on YouTube, that video will be monetized. So you'll have to watch an ad so that you can watch the ad. That's so stupid. Zach says, it's part of Marvel trying to delegitimize fan favorite heroines. She-Hulk, Carol Danvers, Squirrel Girl, and most recently Kitty Pryde. I don't think Marvel's trying to delegitimize them. I think in Marvel's sick, twisted view that they're legitimizing them by making these characters more masculine. They're showing us that they're just as good as men. And that's the part that they don't seem to understand. Like, they're like, you're basically saying femininity is weak. That's a bad thing. And you're calling me the misogynist. Okay, from today, Ash on Comics will identify as She-Hulk. I'm not identifying that. Good Lord. Marvel Comics also hinted that Zach Richards might be Zach Richmond. We're still waiting on confirmation. If this is true, this would change everything. Lord says, no idea what Ash wants. Does he want me to not destroy him or not? Stockholm Syndrome. I do not want you to destroy me. I do not want to be destroyed. IDW to tell Marvel origin stories to middle grade readers in new series. You gotta be kidding me. Look at this. Soak up this picture. So here's the problem with SJW comics. Comics were always for kids. And by kids, I say middle graders, right? 12-year-olds, you're in middle school. When I was that age, I wanted to read kick-ass Marvel comics drawn by people like Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri. I didn't want to look at something stupid like this. If this had been in a comic book in the 80s, I wouldn't have bought it. Because kids don't like stupid things. Like little kids, like 7 years old, 6 years old, they may like this, but they're not reading. What is this idea that adults have that they need to overly kidify something for kids? Kids actually don't want that. I believe kids want to embrace media that's above their age level. There was I wish I could find this, but someone had shown like a study or something that was done about how people read about they like to read about characters that are like one step ahead of them in development. So like, what was it? Like prepubescent preteens. Oh, sorry, little kids wanted to read about preteens. Preteens wanted to read about teenagers. Teenagers wanted to read about young adults. Young adults wanted to start reading about older adults, like middle-aged, like not like old, but and then middle-aged, that's my age group, wants to read about kids. Like that it like flip-flops. And it's really I'm not describing it very well, but this article was really cool about it. And I was like, that really explains why all of a sudden things like Super Sons, which when I was a kid never would have appealed to me, now does. And it's true. I remember being a kid, like I wanted to watch TV shows or movies about that next step, right? Like once I became a high schooler, I didn't want to watch high school kids anymore. I wanted to watch, like college age or young adult. Once I became young adult, I didn't really want that anymore. Like certainly didn't want to go backwards. But look at this. This is dorky. Does IDW even sell any, like who buys this? Who buys this? Are the adults that have kids and think like, this is what I need to buy my kid. And I'm like, just buy him regular Spider-Man. But on second thought, it's Nick Spencer. So you really can't win. I don't even know. Let's see. Wolverine lends a helping claw and Immortal She-Hulk #1 preview. Oh, we were just speaking about, oh God. Didn't look like the brute force approach was working. Figured I'd sneak up and cut it short. Hope you don't mind. Hulk not mind, Wolverine, but you kill Tantrum? Look at this panel. This just makes you want to cringe. And look, I understand that She-Hulk, and I'm just going to call her She-Hulk. I understand that She-Hulk is supposed to be buff because she's like a Hulk. But why is her skeletal structure changed? Does the Hulk effect give you broad male shoulders and narrow male hips? What is the deal with that? Because she does not have the, skeletal structure of a female. She should have wide hips because there's a placenta down here. Or a uterus, I should say, not placenta. That's when you have a baby. Like, that the baby forms in, and it's supported by white. Anyways, you took sex ed, I think, at one time. These shoulders, way too, like, they're wider than Wolverine's. I don't know. So stupid. In September 23's Immortal She-Hulk #1 marks Jennifer Walters' return to a solo title, albeit for a one-shot. That's not a solo title. That's not a one-shot is not a solo title, you dumbasses. And a return from the dead after perishing in the cosmic crossover empire. Spoiler alert, which just wrapped. And a new set of Immortal She-Hulk #1 interior preview pages from artist John Davis Hunt and Marcio Menez. She-Hulk sits down for a cold one with Wolverine. Of course, because that's what modern comics are all about, is people sitting around, talking, eating, and drinking. You'd think they were like superheroes and they had super battles and stuff. No. Who has a share of brushes with both Death and Hulks to talk what it's like to undergo resurrection. I wanted to be in the pitch room for this. It's like, I got an idea for a one-shot comic. Oh, yeah? Yeah, it's going to be She-Hulk Wolverine. Ooh, that sounds like a good one. Back in the 90s, early 90s, they had a Wolverine, or was it early 90s, or was it might have been late 80s. Anyways, Wolverine versus Hulk. Tom McFarlane drew it, and it sold like gangbusters. Everyone loved that. We got to do it again. No, this is going to be, they're going to sit around, they're going to have a beer, and they're going to talk about what it's like to die and come back. What? As the title might imply, Immortal She-Hulk #1 ties into writer Al Ewing's, who also wrote the one-shot Immortal Hulk ongoing series, which partially centers around the idea that Hulks and other gamma mutates will always return from death due to the nature of gamma radiation. That's never been the nature of the gamma radiation, but, Marvel just makes shit up out of thin air. But when it comes to She-Hulk, her path back to life won't look quite like the one her cousin Bruce Banner has taken over and over again in Immortal Hulk. Oh my God, look at this cover. God. Oh. Who legitimately wants this? Who does this appeal to? I find it interesting that Chadwick Boseman gets more rest in power. Rest in power. Motherfuckers. They gets more attention than the death of Stan Lee on the Marvel Comics. All right. I'm kind of disgusted now. Time to go read some comics. I spent way too much time on that. Try to make it fun. Will Comixology let me sign in? Stay tuned. Sorry about this. I don't know what the deal is with Comixology. Maybe it's this browser. Speaking of browsers and donating comics, I have recently gotten 2 donations that I'm going to be doing videos on. I got Rise of Ultraman, courtesy of Sergeant Bats. Thank you, Sergeant Bats. And also Iron Man #1, courtesy of Lance, one of the original comics aficionados. Thank you both. If you're listening, you're probably not, but if you are, and for anyone else, just to know that I'm thankful, appreciate it. Looking forward to those. Where is Ultimate Spider-Man hiding? It's got to be around here somewhere. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Wow, this cover is god awful. How did they sell comics back during this time? People tell me that the turn of the century Marvel Comics was it's so good. It was the best time. Look at this cover. This is what passed for a Marvel comic. This is god awful. Life Lessons, issue 5. Let's see. Gosh, you guys are busy in the chat. Hey, Ryuk is back. Hey, Ryuk. Good to see you. Hello, everyone. Sorry I missed out on so many streams. Work has been working me. Well, I am glad that you're here. Ronnie says, I want gummy bears. Yeah, you do. These were good, too. There's a Black Forest organic gummy bears. And you got to refrigerate them. If you ever get Black Forest gummy bears, take my word for it. Refrigerate them. You want to eat them cold. Makes them better. I thought it sounded stupid, but it does. Pick these up at Costco. It was a box, actually, of 68 packets. They're small little packets, but 68 of them for $8.99. Take that, Milky Way. You're going to find that. Let's see. I don't even know why I made a statement about it. I don't even care about that anymore. The art reminds me of the level of Marvel Adventures line, which was keyed to younger readers, not dumbed down per se, but not as violent as the mainline books. Oh, yeah, you're right, Marania, but I guess maybe the problem is that they just need to stop making Marvel comics so violent. Let's go back to the 80s. Let's go back to the Comics Code Authority. I thought I'd never say that, but honestly, I feel like leaving the Comics Code Authority didn't ultimately give us anything really good. It just let them abuse it. Red Hulk is coming back in Captain America 26. Who cares? Does anyone care? Let's see. I don't know what's worse, says Zach. She-Hulk's buff man body or her stunted caveman speak? Why isn't Wolverine bang Shunky yet? He would survive. That healing factor comes in handy. Wolverine's busy banging Cyclops. That's why. Have you not heard? Wolverine. Well, I guess She-Hulk is kind of manly, so maybe it would be Wolverine style. I don't know. Let's see. I remember one panel back in Avengers Disassemble when She-Hulk got roided and ripped Vision in half. That was pretty cool. But I decided early on that that's not a good look for her. Yeah, that sounds like it was probably just a temporary thing. I wouldn't mind if there was like a temporary effect on her, like she, but I just don't understand. I just don't understand the point. You already have a Hulk. Why are you trying to replace the Hulk? This is what I don't understand. You already have the Hulk. Why do you need to say, no, we need the Hulk to be a girl now? Why do you need to gender swap your characters? They did this almost with everybody. They had to have female Wolverine, female Thor, female Hulk. Looks like they're doing female Iron Man. Well, they did try to do female Iron Man. Yeah, they did. And now they're doing it again. I don't know if you saw the cover of Captain America 23. Oh, God. The new Iron Patriots woman. It's just gender swap. Women are better. Men are stupid. And we can prove to you women are better by making them more like men. Hey, guys, I'm back, says Jimmy. RDV says you left. Focus on the positive, not the negative, Ash. I'm trying to focus. There has to be positive to focus on. Zach says Iron Man. That was a good read. I'm hoping you're right because that dude's Doom book was pretty stupid. How do I donate a book? Because if you get a dono, do you read them on here? I try to, yeah, unless it's something that's not appropriate to. But on Comixology, let me see if I can go show you real quick. When you go to buy something, so let's just say Ghost Rider. If I were to buy this, which I'm not, you can like add it to your cart. Oh, sorry. You can have right here down just below add to your cart. There's a send as gift. There we go. So now it's marked as a gift in your cart. So if you go in the cart, there's the first one I added. And it'll show up in your cart as gift. And then, yeah, I think you have to check mark this. Once confirmed, you can't undo this action. Pre-order items or serious subscriptions should not be delivered as gifts. Now, I haven't done this in a while, but I'm pretty sure once you do this and you proceed to checkout, it'll ask you for the email address of the person that you're gifting it to. So in this case, if it were me, it'd be ash1138@gmail.com. And then I would get an email saying, hey, someone gave you a gift of a book or whatever. Click here to redeem. And you click it, and then it just adds to my account. So that's how that works. Or if you actually have the book and it has a digital code, then you can send me the code, like through Twitter or something, email, whatever, and then I can just enter the code and redeem it. That's usually how I get stuff, is people send me a code. But moving on to Ultimate Spider-Man. Wait a second. RDV says, I'm going to read some Ta-Nehisi Coates' Captain America. My curiosity will lead to my quick demise. All right. It was good knowing you, RDV. Good knowing you. This is comics, games, and cards equals Dragon Ball Talks. It could be. It sounds like Dragon Ball Talks isn't here. I haven't seen him in the same place twice. The reason you're saying just do reviews like Crypto Comics does, I do reviews. I just haven't in a while because real life has gotten in the way. But this has been kind of a scheduled thing, so I do it at nighttime. So But I've been putting this off quite a bit, so let's get into it. Shall we? Oh. I almost forgot. Gotta have a beer. Although beer with gummy worms or gummy bears doesn't work. Gotta cleanse the palate. All right, here we go. Wait a second. Hold on. Hold your horses. I made this comment before. Now, when I got into comics in the mid 80s, it was the 25th anniversary of Marvel. 25 years. This comic book came out in 2000, which was about 15 years later. So somehow, 15 years later, after their 25th anniversary, it was a 70-year anniversary. But, oh, wait a second. I see down here. It's copyright 2010. This must be like... Why would this be, though? This book was 2000. Did they redo it for the digital? Because they just had their 80th anniversary like last year. And this is 20 years before. I don't know. Sorry. I get really distracted. I was like, shiny. Here we go. Sorry. We're going on. We're doing live. The Osborn Mansion. Harry Osborn's bedroom. Harry! What the? Mom! 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 Oh, grim. Mom? Ba-boom. Oh, God. Oof. Please, somebody help. Yes, we heard a noise in the back. And to be honest, we both thought it was Peter because Peter uses the back entrance most of the time. But Ben called out to him and he didn't answer. And right then, I don't know why, but right then I knew something was wrong. I knew that someone was in our house. I could just tell from the kind of silence. Both of you were in the living room? Yes. And I think Ben knew something was wrong too because he got up first. He got up and he called out to Peter again. There was nothing for a second. Then we heard a pan drop. Ben looked at me and said he thought a squirrel got in the house. And I said I never heard of that happening in Queens. Then I looked in the doorway of the kitchen, and there he was. He was standing there in the doorway. He was shaking, and he asked us where we kept our money. Ben told him we didn't have any, and we didn't. Nothing. And the guy just got real agitated and screamed, "Give me all your money!" And Ben, he just... I guess it was just the tension of the situation, the ridiculousness. I don't know the way things have been going lately, but Ben, he kind of chuckled and said, "You probably have more money than we do." And the chuckle kind of, I don't know, it really made him mad. What happened next, ma'am? And that was it. He just ran out the way he came, and oh no. You two will stay with us tonight. What are we going to do, Peter? Oh no. Units respond to a 340 at Chelsea and Ninth. Copy, dispatch. You guys have any spare cars over there? We have a 340. We're almost done here. What's up? We got a guy tried to rob a Popeye's chicken not 2 blocks from where you are. 3 squad cars were parked out front, and the guy still thought he could take the place. They chased him into an abandoned warehouse and are requesting backup. Man, the idiot brigade is out in full force tonight. Yeah, we'll send a 444 over now. Over. A foot chase? Maybe the same guy who perpetrated this. Whammy. I wish. Go on over and be a cop. Peter! Oh, it's okay, ma'am. Kids take these things the hardest. The kids just gotta find a way to let it out. We're not gonna wait here all night, pal. Be smart and cooperate. Officers at 412, backup is on the way. That's good news, dispatch. I would like to finish my dinner. Calling the update, over. Sure, over. Pigs are everywhere. The only way out is through the front door. If we have to charge in there, it ain't gonna be pretty. Take you with me if I have to, pieces of garbage. Gonna get out of here one way or the other. That's exactly what I was hoping to hear. Murderer. Yeah, blam. Everyone down. I must be seeing things. I must be out of my thump. Oof. Maybe he popped himself? You wish. What is this? What's going on? I gotta hide. Mister, there is nowhere on earth you will be able to hide from me. Arrgh! Bach. You can't. Yeah? Well, you should have thought of that before you... That face. It's... Oh, no. It can't be. Get out of my way. Out. Why didn't you stop him? Not my job. Not your job? All you had to do was trip him, stick your foot out, and he's kissing pavement. Well, sorry. But that really wasn't my department, isn't it? I've got my own problems, big guy. You probably have more money than we do. Lamb. He hasn't come out the back either, Captain Stacy. Your call. Should we call SWAT? Oh. Huh? The place is empty. We found the gun, but... What happened in there? Seeing things. What? What did you see? You told me. Your father, he believed that if the world That if there were things in this world that you had to offer that you did well, better than anyone else, things that you could do that helped people or made people feel better about themselves, well, he believed that it was your responsibility to do those things. Why didn't you stop him? Not my job. Great things are going to happen to you in your life, Peter. Great things. And with that will come great responsibility. Do you understand? Blam. I do now. I was selfish. So selfish. And you paid the price. You did, I did, Aunt May did. I will never ever forgive myself for that. I will never ever forget that I could have stopped it. It's all so clear now, Uncle Ben. It's like I've been wearing a blindfold and earmuffs all my life, and someone just ripped them off me. I see the world clearly now, and I see what my place is in it. You are right. With power comes responsibility. Absolutely. For some reason, I've been given great power, and with great power then must come great responsibility. Oh my God, that was a word salad. I will never let you down again, Uncle Ben. How you doing? I, uh, I don't know. Your aunt is staying with us. Good. They asked me to wait here for you, bring you back to our place if, if you want. I was so worried. All right. What did you think? That wasn't necessarily, that wasn't a bad issue. Let's see. RDV says, this is Ash on Comics. Ash does what Ash does best. Rant and rave and get in the weeds and stumble over words. Is that what I do best? Or is it eating gummy bears? I do that pretty good. Hope you guys got a good beverage. I'm telling you, makes it better. Zach says, I'm thinking of checking out Savage Avengers. I'll report my findings. I did a review on the first issue of Savage Avengers. It's pretty dumb. I feel like Wolverine fighting Conan and somehow Conan not dying. It is stupid. Conan chops a sword into his head and somehow the author forgets that Wolverine's head's adamantium and the sword sticks in his head. And I'm like, what the? It's as dumb as the premise should be. I can't believe that book is still going. But I guess you throw the Punisher and Elektra and Wolverine and Conan and I think Venom's in it too. It's the most hodgepodge group of characters. It's just like the most edgelord characters of the Marvel Universe are in their own book with Conan. They don't really belong, and we don't actually write a story where they work together like a team because they don't really belong. And it's Gary Duggan, so don't expect much. That was the trailer for it. I just gave you the audio version. Let's see. Da, da, da. Pixie is up there. She wasn't even created till 2004. That's bizarre. I don't know what you're talking about. Zach says, and that's why you always trip up robbers when they pass you on the sidewalk. I've learned that actually in today's day and age, that if someone is an armed criminal robber or something, you just don't mess with them at all, because even if you defend yourself, you will go to jail. You are not allowed to interfere with criminals in any way, shape, or form, even if you're a police officer, apparently. So apparently you just let criminals do whatever the fuck they want and hope to God they don't kill you, because you can't stop them. And if you try to stop them, then you're going to go to jail. Yeah, it's a pretty terrible world we live in right now. Dragon Majesty says the movie version of The Origin is better. Yes, it is. So is the original comic version better. I'm willing to bet that the IDW Origin that they're about to do, it will be even better. So, I don't know. Like, I don't want to bash Bendis. It's like low hanging fruit. This isn't good. It's not that it's bad. It just feels very amateur. And part of me wants to be forgiving of that, because it's like, well, this is early in his career. And I'm very forgiving to other people, like James Tynion, for example, for a lot of the amateur stuff he's done in recent years, because it's early in his career. He's just starting to get better, and he's really coming into his own. But at the same time, that an excuse doesn't make the book good. It just makes me say, oh, excuse the lack of quality. Here, I mean, Bendis has the whole story laid out for him already. He doesn't have to write anything. He just plagiarizes. But so when you do that, when you already have the story written for you, then it's up to you to embellish it and dramatize it and make it more interesting than we thought it was. Right? It's kind of like, always go back to my boy Frank Miller. We all knew the origin of Batman, but when you read Batman Year One, it's compelling as fuck, because he embellishes it and he adds drama and weight to it, and the telling of the story is so much better than it had ever been done before. Same with Daredevil. Well, you know the origin of Daredevil, but you go read Man Without Fear, you get his telling of the story, and it just feels better. When I read this Ultimate Spider-Man, I feel like, yeah, I already knew all this, and this is like less impressive to me. The whole death of Uncle Ben is not emotional. Like, you didn't tell it in a way that made me feel any emotion at all. And in fact, it's kind of the opposite, because it's so hokey and fake, and just like the villain just shows up in his house. like what? Like, I'm not annoyed by this book like a modern Bendis book that's just over wordy and feels like an episode of Big Bang Theory and the characters act stupid. That's not happening here. What's happening here is just an amateur who didn't really know how to deliver a story. And so he took an existing story and told it worse than, or I don't want to say, he told it not as well as we already knew it. So anyways, that's my opinion of the book. I'm enjoying reading it though, and hopefully you're getting some fun. Like I said, I don't feel like it's terrible. I just feel like it's meh. And I think if this wasn't Spider-Man, if this was just some D-list character that I had never heard of before, I'd probably be a little bit more forgiving of it too, because I'm just like, oh, whatever. But this is Spider-Man. We know the story. Like, you have so much to work off of. I just feel I have to judge it at a higher level. Ronnie says, Bendis has to be paid not only by the word, but by the letters in those words. That was why he's so wordy in his books. You know, we joke about that today But honestly, I will credit where credit's due. This book is not wordy. These Ultimate Spider-Man books feel like he was writing, standard comic. Look, I'm just gonna go 2-page view. I mean, look at some of these. There's not a lot of word balloons. This is you can't accuse Bendis of being too wordy. In certain panels, there were where I was like, come on, you didn't need to. Like this part was a little bit, but overall, as an entire comic book, he really did allow silent, frames to work, speak for themselves. Let the art. He didn't have a great artist working for him, so I guess it's not all on his shoulders. I really hate this scene right here. This panel where Spider-Man's punching it. This is awful. Someone needs to read How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. This is not the way to go. So the next book for tonight is Lazarus issue 5, wherever that may be. Let's see. I'm here. I'm still a fan at heart, so I'm here. I like the Conan Serpent Crown. It's awesome. Conan versus Wolverine sounds great, not dumb. Okay, everyone's different. Wolverine getting chopped in the head by some barbarian. Wolverine's fought the Hulk and come away like multiple times. Like Conan would be nothing to Wolverine. Let's see. Year 2 by Dixon is way better than Year 1. Incorrect. Bendis killed and blinds Kingpin. He must have wrote a whole series in a day for $2 million. Ronnie says, another trope of his I've noticed over time is a lot of reaction frames, which seems to stretch out the story more than needed. Yes, Bendis was one of the fathers of decompressed storytelling in comics. Like I don't know if he's the guy that started it, but he's definitely the most popular or most well-known writer to really usher in that. Like everyone started copying. Like he made it like, oh, we can do that. And he really changed comics because of that. This Ultimate Spider-Man story we've read 5 issues so far, and like next to nothing has happened. This all could have been put into one issue, but Bendis is so decompressed, and decompression works well for some writers who have a lot of drama. Like Chip Zdarsky is using decompression to a strong effect right now because he's adding lots of interpersonal drama into this decompressed plot, right? We're on 21 issues of this storyline of Daredevil coming back and be like, and the main plot thread is running kind of slow, but there's so much subplots and interpersonal drama with the different characters that it doesn't feel like it's running slow. It feels like things are happening. You're gripped page after page. In the Spider-Man, it's just like, it just feels like fluff and filler and, oh, look, here's another page of nothing going on. And like, oh, like the last issue was one of the worst offenders. It's like, here's a party. And you'd read panels of something happening of characters talking at the party. And then you'd read another panel and they would say the same, like it was like redoing the same thing. Like we just saw these guys sitting at the party saying the exact same thing. It was nonsense that I've never seen before in comics. He kind of did that a little bit here, but it made sense because he was using it as a flashback to like hammer down the great power responsibility thing. I don't think he executed it well, but there was a part where he basically redid the scene of Uncle Ben saying the power responsibility thing 3 times in the same comic, that same scene. But at least he had a reason. Now, I don't agree with the reason, but at least you could see the reason. whatever. I don't want to defend the guy. Let's see. Where's book 5? Book 5, where are you? By the way, you can get Lazarus book 1 for free, completely free on Comixology Unlimited, or not a Comics. It's on Unlimited, but you can also get it free. You don't have to be a subscriber. So if you'd like to have the first issue yourself and read through it, by all means, go pick it up. I always pick up free digital books every chance I get because they don't take up space. And maybe you'll be a believer and you can buy subsequent issues for less than $1. Look at that. Way cheaper than most modern comics. And this cover looks really creepy to me. I know it's not in any way inappropriate, but for whatever reason, maybe it's just because it's been so much in the limelight, but I see this cover and immediately I'm thinking of cuties. I'm just like, and I'm so disgusted with that. I try to avoid anything like people talking about it because I'm like, I just don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. But for whatever reason, I see this cover and it looks, I don't know, looks weird to me. It looks creepy. I think it's because even though this character here is not sexualized, it's clearly seems to be like either this is a terrible drawing and they just drew her with a gigantic head, or this is Forever as a little girl. That's why her head's oversized, but she's a little girl and she's got developing breasts. And whenever you try to take a little child but then make them look like an adult, like little girls especially, to me it's super creepy. Just let little girls look like little girls. I don't want, when they look like adults, regardless of the attire that they're wearing, it just, sorry. You don't care about that, I don't think. Let us go. Wait. Guided view. There we go. All right. RDV says that is her when she's 8 years old. Oh, okay, so it is like cuties. I'm just kidding. The proportions are way off. Huge head, small body. Okay, so it is right. That's how you draw children, to make them look. You have to draw their head oversized because the children have oversized heads in proportion to their body. All right, here we go. The world lies divided not amongst political or geographic boundaries, but amongst political financial ones. Wealth is power, and that power now rests with only a handful of families. The few who provide a service to their ruling family are cared for and protected. All others are waste. Forever Carlyle is the Lazarus of the Carlyle family, genetically engineered to be absolutely loyal and faithful to the Carlyle name, created to act as the sword and the shield to her family. For most waste, life is a subsistence existence. The only way they can hope to truly improve their situation is to be elevated to service by their ruling family. This most commonly occurs through selection, what the waste and families alike refer to as lift. Forever Carlyle's next scheduled lift will occur 3 weeks from today in the city of Denver. Lift, Part 1. Southern Sierra Nevadas facility, Compound Sequoia, family, Carlyle. I'm trying to remember. Population family 2, 1 permanent. Population serf, 32. When was the last time I saw her, James? On her birthday, Mr. Carlyle. Laboratory Kappa restricted area. Unauthorized access forbidden. So, just over 5 months ago. Then this should be a pleasant surprise. I'm sure it will. Forever? There's someone here to see you. Daddy! I'm so happy to see you. No one told me you were coming. And is this the proper way to greet your father? No. Sorry. Sorry, sir. It's a pleasure to see you again, Father. A pleasure to see you too, forever. Marisol, if you please. Certainly, sir. Do you know what this is, forever? Yes, sir. That's my sword, sir. The one you promised me. No. That is the family sword. The one you must earn, as I told you. Do you think you're ready to carry it? I am, sir. Prove it to me. I am disappointed in you, forever. I expected better. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir. I think we both know your apology is meaningless. Our enemies would not hear it, because you would be dead. Your mother and I, and your siblings, would not hear it, because we would likely be dead too. You are not ready to wear the sword. I wonder, in fact, if you should be allowed to wear the name Carlyle at all. The next time I visit, you will defeat Marisol. Or you will no longer be permitted to call yourself my daughter. Stanford University, family, Carlisle. Population, serf, 19,000. I'm sorry, what did you say? Miss Rosales, Katie, I said, about your father, about Samuel Rosales, I'm very sorry. Is that a condolence or an apology, Miss Carlyle? I don't know. I just... both. It's both. You tracked me down here and you come and you say you're sorry. Sorry that my father is dead. Sorry that you executed him. So, that means you know he was innocent. That all of us at Harvest One were innocent. That we'd never dare betray you. Your family. Well, I just want to thank you for coming to say that, Miss Carlyle. You have no idea what it means to me to hear your apology. Excuse me, I have to take this. Have the imagery uploaded to the center and send the Dagger team to the secure site. On my orders, they are not to engage unless fired upon. I'll be there as soon as I can. I have to go. Mississippi River, West Bank. Family, Carlisle. Population, 0 permanent. Population serf, 16. Dagger Team A, temporary deployment. Pause for a second here. How much frigging land do the Carlisles have? Like, I thought they were just a California based, but the Mississippi River, like, that's their area too. Like, they're that huge. Anyways, moving on. Commander, good to see you again. Sergeant, You confirmed it's his? We matched part numbers on the starboard thruster and dorsal port stabilizer. They matched the dragon your brother stole from the Palisades residence 4 days ago. Best I can tell, he ditched on this side of the river. Then blew it to bits. Do we know if he crossed or not? Definitively, no, Commander. But I'm thinking the odds are pretty good. Hey, sweet meat, you lose something? You mean like a war? No, we won. How's the food over there in the land of Bittner and Hawk, by the way? You all have full bellies, do you? Fuck you, bitch. You come over here, I'll give you something to eat. Ah, rape threat. That didn't take them long, did it, Sergeant? No, Commander, it surely did not. Permission to kill, sons of bitches? Denied. I've seen all I need to see. Crack! Gah! Daggers! Weapons free! Hold fire! Dagger will hold fire! One of you just shot me in the back. One of you was just very fucking stupid. Savara Bittner and Old Man Hawk have an armistice with my family. Armistice. If the person who shot me did so under orders, that means the armistice is broken and we are now at war. But if the shit-stained coward who shot me in the back acted against orders, Carlyle would be satisfied by seeing the soldier in question punished. And we will consider the matter settled. Guys, come on. Don't do it. Don't. I'm one of you. I'm crack, 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 crack. I think we're done here, Sergeant. Montana. Muscle Shell CDP. Family, Carlisle. Population, family, 0. Population, surf, 0. Population, waste, 17. Still rising? 2 feet in the last hour. Dad and Leah are still with the Solomons. Taylor and Gomez came by. They're already heading for higher ground. The river could break its banks by morning. You want me to go give them a hand? God, I don't know. It'll be dark soon, Michael. It's going to get even more dangerous. Did you check the post? Did we get a response from Monroe? It's just been the normal feed, Mom. We're going to lose everything, aren't we? Not for lack of a fight, son. Get Zoot fed and dry. I'm going to check the post again, okay? Okay. You know they're not going to help us. Maybe not. Maybe so. Guess it depends on if they see a profit in it. Da-deet. One message. Da-deet. One message. Da-deet. One message. Play message. Da-deet. Hey, Bobby. The amendment to your land use agreements has been processed, so you and Joe are in the queue for support. But we got flooding throughout the region. As soon as I can get a heavy down your way will be Friday. Wish I had better news for you. You and Joe and the kids, y'all stay dry. Call Regional Administrator. You have reached the office of Administrator Duncan Monroe. No one is able to take your call. Leave a message and your inquiry will be answered in the order received. It's Robbie Barrett and Muscle Shell. God damn you, Duncan. We need that heavy down here tonight. You understand me? Gomez and Taylor have already lost their fields. The river breaks its banks here. We're going to lose everything. You process the fucking contract now. Sorry. You've processed the fucking contract. You know we're good for it. Just give us what we paid for, Duncan. Please. This is all we have. South Central Los Angeles. Family, Carlisle. Population, family, 2, 1 permanent. Population surf, 300,000. Population waste, 2.8 million estimated. Waiting all day. For our patients, please have your ID and LRP ready. No. Done 37 menials already. Hope to move up. Looking for 6 people with confirmed points and working with concrete. Power can wait. I want water running again, and I want sewage situation under control. How we've avoided a cholera epidemic, I don't even want to guess. Running water, working sanitation by the end of the week, Thomas. We'll need more manpower to do it, Miss Carlisle. Take a look outside. They're lined up for more than a mile. Hey, there you are. I was starting to worry something had happened to you. No, I'm fine, Joe. This doesn't look fine. Dare I ask what happened to the other guy? Or where you were? We located the dragon that Jonas stole when he fled. He ditched it on our side of the Bittner Hawk. I can't believe he'd go to either of them. I'm not sure he did, but it's how it looks. Well, I'm glad you're back safe. Hey, take a look at this. It's still a mess, but the reconstruction is already underway. There's a fuck ton still to do, but it's a good start. I'm impressed. Not bad for the wastrel sister, huh? I never called you that. No, but you thought it, and Father still does. That's why he's got you babysitting me, isn't it? He thinks I was in on it with Jonah. He doesn't trust me. Father doesn't tell me what he thinks, Joe. But if you want his trust back, you're on the right track. He'll be happy to see that you're taking responsibility for your domain. Come on. Facility. Twins Palisades. Residence. Population. Family. 2. I'll take you back to the residence. He is not your father. This is not your family. My dog is snoring next to me. I don't know if you guys can hear him over the chat. Let me know if you can hear him. Or hear him. I'm saying him. Or let you know if you can hear. Carl, why are you snoring? Oh, like she's going to answer. Sorry, back to the show. You got the first aid kit? Yes, Mom. And make sure you get the blankets, the wool ones. Already got them. We gotta go now. Michael, you and Leia open the barn and get the horses and turn the animals loose. We hear from Monroe? Yes, we did. He says we'll have a heavy for sandbagging by Friday. Oh, the books. I cleared the lower shelves. There just wasn't time, Joe. We're going for high ground. Try to wait it out. Da-deed. One message. Da-deet. One message. Da-deet. One message. Da-deet. One message. Bobby, got good news for you. Got a heavy freed up and heading your way. Should be there by morning. Next issue, Lift Part 2. That was just an okay book. For me. I wonder what you guys thought. Let's see. Get that out of here. All right. RDV says 70-year anniversary, Ash. That's what he was talking about. Facepalm. I don't know. Sometimes I lose track of what you guys are talking about. Okay, Jimmy's making nonsense about Year 2 by Dixon. Let's see. Another trope. Another trope of his I've noticed over time is a lot of reaction frames. Speaking of Bendis, which seems to stretch the story out more than needed. Definitely in these books, the Spider-Man books have been tons of reaction frames. Jimmy says, just kidding, I didn't read either of those POS. POS? Batman sucks. Lol, that's my biased opinion. Batman doesn't suck. You just don't appreciate good comics. That's what you should say is your bias. Because you praise Bendis Batman all to hell. They're like, oh, that's so great. But no, it's actually great Batman. You apparently don't like it. Comics, Games, and Cards says, I'd pay to see Wolverine get his head chopped by Conan. I'm getting that book. All right. I think Conan in the Marvel Universe is like one of the dumbest things ever. But if that's your boat, so be it. Personally, I'd rather just pay to get a good Wolverine comic. Go read the Chris Claremont, Frank Miller Wolverine miniseries. Oh, that's what you should pay for. Ronnie says, those 5 issues of Ultimate Spider-Man were in one issue. Amazing Fantasy 15. Oh. You're right, Ron. Yeah, it's like, let's see. Comics Gate says, not cuties. No. There are flashbacks to her childhood in this book. Yep, got that part. I didn't really like that flashback sequence, though, by the way. I mean, I guess it served to illustrate how her father's kind of a dick. But I don't know. I really have a problem in comic books, and not just comic books, but like TV and movies too. This modern trope that they just do where it's like women kick as much, if not more ass than men. And look, this isn't a slight to women at all. Okay. But biology is biology. There's a reason why in sports we have male sports and we have female sports. There's a reason why you don't put a fighter, if you go boxing or MMA, you don't have a male versus a female, right? They actually did this once. I don't know if you guys have heard. There's a fighter, a trans fighter in MMA I believe her name's Fallon Fox. I might have the name wrong, but she is a male to trans female. So she fights as a female, but she's born male. She doesn't just win her fights. She puts her opponents in the hospital. She's like breaking skulls. It's ridiculous. Now, she doesn't fight in the UFC because the UFC wouldn't stand for that. I'm pretty sure she didn't fight in the UFC. But it just doesn't. You put the best female fighters. She fights the top female fighters. She can't even compete in the male circuit. Because she's just wasn't good. But in the female version, she just destroys. But there's this fantasy thing that we want to have of having tough female characters kicking ass. I don't know really why that is. I don't think it makes you a better person because you whoop people's ass, right? Thinking of characters like Jimmy Olsen isn't a bad person because he's not around kicking people's ass, right? He couldn't hurt a fly. He's a male. That's not the only trait that's valuable, that should be considered valuable. But for some reason, we have to make it known. We have to fantasize about this idea that women kick ass. And so I'm reading this book and I'm like, okay, this is that trope. This is the suspension of disbelief. You just have to go with the flow and accept it. You know, she's a badass. She kicks ass. Okay. But she's genetically altered and stuff too. So then I'm like, okay, that helps sell my suspension of disbelief. Like as soon as you add like powers into the mix, which, you know, comic books do, it's not hard for me to believe Wonder Woman kicks ass because she's not just an ordinary woman. She's superhuman. But in this particular case, we're not seeing just a woman. We're seeing a little girl, an 8-year-old girl. There's just no way. I don't care how many times you've seen the movie Kick-Ass or read the books and seen Hit Girl and stuff. They just really couldn't hurt a fly. I don't care how much you want to fantasize about it. And I guess for me, it just takes me out of the story when you try to sell me something that just is completely not plausible. So this idea that this 8-year-old girl is supposed to beat someone in combat who's apparently probably one of the best combatants in the whole family because that's training her. And if that person's not that great of a combatant, why are they training her? And not only that, but why would you expect that person to be able to train her to be good? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So I was like, this whole sequence seems meh. I get it. Like, you want the dad to be like, next time you better win or you're not my daughter. Like, okay, that adds an air of, it's character development and makes the guy look sinister and evil. But I just didn't really see the whole point in this story. And then the apology sequence when she goes to apologize to the daughter, that fell flat for me. Really flat. Like, it really made the Forever seem like an even worse person. At first I was like, oh, she's trying to show some like humanity and empathy. And then she's like, oh, hold on, I got this call. And she just like leaves. And it's just like, oh no, you're just an unthinking, unfeeling machine that fucking murders people and you don't give a shit. Like, you're just a terrible person. Like everyone in this. And I was like, this issue is making me lose compassion for the main character. And that's a bad thing to happen. The first several issues, I don't know her background. Obviously, we have this evil family that brought her in. She's not part of the family. So I'm like, oh, her life, she didn't get to choose this life. So I'm like, okay, there are things that leave it open for me to care about her. But this book was a step in a weird direction. And then there was I can't help it, because I know Greg Rucka is a complete crazed SJW asshole. And I just can't help but notice some things that maybe I'm reading into it. You can call me out on this. I'm fully aware that maybe I'm reading into this. But like Jimmy says, your biases and stuff. I know he's a raging SJW. So the victims of this book are, of course, people of color, right? Oh, they're the ones that lose their home because the rich white family didn't care about them, so their home got destroyed. And then meanwhile, when you go to the Mississippi, Who are the real bad guys? Oh, they're total stereotypical redneck assholes, you know, that like threaten to rape forever. And it's just like, really? This is a stereotype. It's just whatever. I mean, if this book was written today, the thing would be different. They would just be wearing Trump hats, you know, like. And again, maybe I'm reading way into it, but I shouldn't read it. I shouldn't see that at all. Is my point. But I don't hate the book. I'm just trying to be honest with what was going on through my head as I was reading it. I do still like this world building. I'm hoping the book gets better. We'll see. This is a 2-issue sub story. I don't know. All right. Let's see. Where did we leave off with the covers here? Comics, gamers, and that comics, games, and cards is really hard to say. I don't know if you know this. Comics, games, and cards. But it is. It's tough to say. He says bad cover. Yep, we covered that. RDV says they have a large chunk of the U.S. This issue is what hooked me. Be honest, Venkman. It was the cover, wasn't it? That cover hooked you. I know you. This family struggle made me buy the trades. All right, cool. I'm still trying to dig onto it. I'm not. It hasn't lost me. It was definitely better than the better book of the two tonight. There are multiple different viewpoints in this book. That's true. I agree. Those who have and those who haven't. That's true as well. I do agree. I just wish it wasn't so on the nose, right? The rich white family, you notice like all the waste are all people of color, and the whole Carlisle family is blonde hair, blue eyed white people, except for Forever, because she's adopted, and like the only way you can have any sympathy for her is because she's like least white as you can be. Like they gave her the dark hair. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading way into it. I just know Rucka, and it's hard for me not to see these things. The character intertwined in the future book. All right, cool. I'm not digging Lazarus anymore, says Jimmy. Morania says, I don't trust the twin sister. Well, you're not supposed to. She's bad. This is a whole plot of hers. She's like set up her brother, who we know is evil too, but he's on the run now because she got outplayed. The one thing that's neat about this book, and I hope that it can be executed really well, is because it has a world building feel of like Blade Runner, but with a storyline that's like Game of Thrones. You know, it has that whole like this sort of backstabbing family intrigue, you know, pursuit of power type thing. And then you got the people who you know, just the normal people who have to like suffer under the power plays of the rich, and you know, that part's pretty fascinating, and it can make for some cool stories. I love me any Conan no matter what, and or Wolverine. Look at my haul vids; they got Wolverine. Yeah, but you just wanted to see Conan chop Wolverine, so I'm not too sure have much faith in your love of Wolverine. But also, I would say if you love Conan no matter what, that you really don't love Conan. Like, I would ask you to reconsider that, because I think, or maybe this is just me, the things that I really love, I don't like to see them done stupid, right? If I was a big Conan fan, I would only want to see or read like the good stuff. And if they made like Conan, you know, Conan crossed over with My Little Pony, I'd be like, what the fuck? No, you know, like, I'm not going to just be like, I don't care. I love me some Conan. And now I love me some ponies. That was creepy. Batman got the most murderous villains to contend with in all of comics. One reason I respect him. I don't know. The X-Men's got some pretty murderous villains. Of course, they're not. They're all heroes now, so they're all on the same side. But it used to be. Let's see. Forever's jacked up on super serum. super soldier serum like drugs. That's why this comic works. Yeah, I mean, she's genetically enhanced and got all that stuff. But I don't think she was as an 8-year-old RDV. That was my point I was trying to make. Like, you had me suspended my disbelief of her as Lazarus because she's got powers. But as a little girl, I don't know. I'm just trying to be transparent with my thoughts. I'm not trying to be a hater. I don't hate the book. I'm still liking it. I'm seeing where it goes. Let's see. Red Sonja would kill Conan? No. No. And the whole reason why no is the reason why Conan and Red Sonja even works, because Red Sonja will only ever be with a man who can best her, and Conan is the only man that can best her. That's what that's supposed to be about. But yeah, Red Sonja is another one of those books where I'm just like, oh, I gotta roll my eyes because Red Sonja would barely be able to lift her sword, much less use it effectively. Let's see. Ash, when you get to the current ongoing, it will all make sense why her father expected she could take on her opponent. Okay. Hey, I'm keeping an open mind, Venkman. I'm just telling you where my thoughts are at the moment. I'm not crucifying the book. That's not what I'm trying to do. Monday, I'm buying Millar's The Magic Order and Brubaker's Criminal 1 and 2. All right. Cool. I've heard people love Magic Order. I haven't read it, but I've heard a lot of people really like it. I've also heard it's pretty twisted and messed up because Millar can have pretty sick. He has a pretty sick worldview. Let's see. Never heard of it, Quirks. I'm buying Turok Dinosaur Hunter vintage foil comic and sealed hero illustrated. It's so weird that people say vintage foil comic because I remember when those comics came out. Like, to me, it doesn't seem like, and you talk about them like vintage, I'm like, oh God, am I that old? I find that once I'm sensitized to certain tropes, it's hard for me not to see them in books, past and present. Same here, Maranya. Like, once you see it, it's hard to unsee it. It's like, the young people in the audience probably won't get this, but when my friend pointed out in Star Wars, in the space battle scenes in the first movie, the TIE fighters and the X-Wings, that you could see the strings holding up the ships. Not the strings, but you could see like there's like boxes put around the ships. And when I watch those movies dozens of times. Never saw it. Like I just got immersed in the story and I didn't look past. But when my friend pointed it out, I was like, look, right here, you could see it. Then I could never watch the film again without seeing it. I was like, why did you do that? I can't not see it now because it was exposed. And that's the same thing that happens to me. Like what you just said with comic tropes. Like there's certain things now, like once I'm on to what's happening, and like Bendis is one of those people now that I just go, I just see right through it every time. I can't unsee it. So yeah, I know what you mean is what I'm trying to say in so many words. I look past the issues that you're having with this book. You're looking for a problem and that's why you found some. No, I'm not really. Honestly, I'm not looking for a problem, Bankman. But since this is a YouTube video in a sense, and I'm talking about the book, I'm trying to talk about it with a critical eye. And I'm honestly not. Like, I liked the book. I wanted to read this book. I want to like everything. But I also don't just turn a blind eye to things because I'm enjoying it. And some things really do stand out to me. And then once they do, it's like I just talked about, I can't unsee it. I'm like, why? You know, and I try to shove it in the back and just be like, whatever. But now that we're like 5 issues in and I've seen this happen more than once, I'm like, this isn't just a random, this is a pattern. And once the pattern emerges, that's where it becomes more difficult. I saw this happening in earlier books, but I didn't talk about it because it just was random. Like I couldn't, so I was like, okay, well, whatever. But now it's like, oh wait, every single time this certain type of character says it's like this, and everything it's like that. It's like, oh yeah, until he breaks the pattern and proves that I'm wrong. It's hard for me to not see it that way, but I still do enjoy the book. Like I said, RDV says bad books have tainted you. Oh yeah, that's true. They have tainted us all, I believe. Release the bad memories and be at peace. Here's the thing. I absolutely know that that I'm kind of a snob when it comes to these things. And I very much am aware, I'm self-aware of it. And I understand that some of the things that I complain about and bitch about and point out, like other people read and go, I don't see the problem. I don't care. None of that stuff bothers me. And that's fine. But as much as the negatives really stand out to me, I appreciate where I'm at in my viewpoints because it also means that the positives really stand out. The example I like to use is when I was a little kid, McDonald's was like my favorite food, right? Like it's many little kids' favorite food. I just want to make McDonald's the best burger I ever had. Now I didn't know any better. And, you could have some snobby food person come, oh, McDonald's, that's, one day you'll appreciate something better. At the time, I didn't care. I'm like, I don't care. This is good for me. This is my favorite. And it's fine. But it wasn't until later, as my taste buds matured and developed, and I tasted all sorts of different food from all parts of the world and all this stuff, and I've really gotten to hone that in. Now I don't hate McDonald's, but I recognize it is a cheap food for what it is. It's only because I'm able to appreciate that it's not good that I'm able to appreciate really great things as being really great. And it's only from my ability to appreciate comics failing that I'm able to appreciate when they do something really transcendent and well. When you're not like that, when everything is just so and fine and there's really nothing's that bad, but then nothing's really that good either. And that's, I guess, my point that I'm probably not successfully making, but let's see. Well, actually, RDV just actually'd me. She was on drugs even at 8. I knew it. This is like Cuties. Child exploitation. Okay. I'm trying to keep an open mind. You don't need to sell me on it. If Forever is genetically altered from the get-go, she could have the skills with training even at a young age. Yeah, she could. It just, the book itself didn't communicate that to me as well. Do you see what I'm saying? Like with you and Venkman explaining stuff outside the book to rationalize it, is what I'm saying is the book should have done that for you guys, right? And that's it. Like, yes, you're right. You guys, absolutely. I just wish the book would have not made me question it. I'm going to gift you Thor Game of Thrones issue number 1 to read on stream. Just issue 1? Comics, games, and cards. I want expensive Mortal Kombat comics from 90s Malibu. Oh, by the way, you don't have to gift me Thor, Jimmy, as much as I appreciate the thought. That Thor issue is on Comixology Unlimited, which I have a subscription to. Comics, Games, and Cards says, I don't like either of these books. 250-cent bin at Random Books. I'd like more. Well, let me just tell you this. Both of these books are better than Savage Avengers. So take that with what you will. If you don't like these books and you're going to go read a Gary Duggan, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry you don't like it. I'm not saying that these are the greatest books by any means, but Gary Duggan's never written anything even good, as far as I'm aware. I like Rucka Red Highlands Friday and filed off a few serial numbers when he wrote this. Oh, I feel like Rucka and Highlands. Okay. Oh, you feel like he ripped it off. I see. I gotcha. RDV says Thor, Game of Thrones. That's what I thought. Every time Jimmy does that, GOT is forever synonymous with Game of Thrones. Comics, Games, and Cards says, I want a plush Starro. Look up Jarro. I don't need to look up Jarro. He's from Justice League. For those of you who don't know who Jarro is a little mini Starro character that Batman acquired through his adventures in the Justice League story, and he calls him Jarro, and he uses him to like read other people's minds for his detective work. It's kind of an interesting thing that he does. And a few weeks back, I think it was a few weeks back, Wes from Thinking Critical posted on Twitter, without context, one of the pages with Jarro, and he's like wearing the Robin uniform, and when you take the panel out of context, it looks really stupid. You're like, what the fuck? But the context is Mistleplick is back and he's warping reality, so that's why there's weird shit going on. But RDV, or is it Thor Girls on Trampolines? Oh, Bankman, you can't talk about Girls on Trampolines. It's now 2020. And all that Jimmy Kimmel shit has been canceled. Jimmy says, well, I'm going to gift it to you because you will never read it otherwise. I told you I would read it. I'm just haven't read it on your timeline. And like I said, it's on Unlimited. So gifting me a single issue is kind of a waste. Like if you were to gift me the whole trade paperback, then I'd be able to keep it forever. And I'm not trying to convince you to do that in any way. I'm just saying, like, there's no point in giving me a single issue of a series that I can just got all on Comixology. Savage Adventures did suck. I saw a review, but I'm still a fan of them. Okay, I guess. Still, it sucks, but I'm a fan. You do you, man. If you like it, you like it. RDV had a quarter pounder with Big Mac sauce on it. Some people just like different things. So we've reached the end of the comment section, and it's well after midnight. This stream has gone on incredibly long. Breen left a long time ago. I don't even know if he said goodnight. He just bailed. What a jerk. He's not even here, so I get to talk behind his back. I'll have to give him some shit later. RDV says, I will gift you Batman No Man's Land trade paperbacks 1, 2, and 3. I think there's 4. But that's a lot of trades there at RDV. That would be too generous for you. Read them on here. That's a lot to read on here. It's and here's the thing too. I very much want to read No Man's Land, by the way. Like I'm looking forward to getting into that sometime. I know a lot of people have stated how great that is. I don't want to do a long, gigantic storyline on here for 2 reasons. Number 1, I like having the variety, right? For Lazarus, I'm reading it. Some people are really liking it. Some people are not liking it. So for the people who are liking it, they're going to say, oh, I kind of wish there was more. They have the option to go pick it up. The people who don't like it don't have to suffer through my channel for more than 6 episodes of that. Like, they know that there will be something new and different coming around the corner, and not going, oh, Ash is going to be reading this for 50 freaking episodes or however long, it's going to be. So that's, I don't want to do that. And going back to the first point, I do want to encourage people to buy things, not for me, but for themselves. I don't want to just be a pirate channel. That's not like my thing is like, I'm just going to pirate all your comics for you. I'm reading selective things that either A, I've read before and I want to share my enthusiasm and let you get to experience something that I liked and hear why I liked it. Or B, it's something new that I haven't experienced and you're going to get to see my first raw take of it. And that's why I'm talking about Lazarus the way that I am, Venkman, is because this is kind of what it's like. If you ever watch a reaction video, like where people watch a trailer to a movie for the first time and they've never seen it. And so that's what it is. What I'm explaining to you about Lazarus is my reaction. It may not be what you like to hear, but that's truly what's going on in my mind. I'm not trying to hate on it or anything. I'm just trying to be transparent to you. So that all being said, we can always talk more behind the scenes about stuff. Read to me on Discord, says RDV. Oh my God. Oh, Comics and Cards says Old Secret Wars issue 1 is one of my Grail comics. Why is that a Grail? That's not hard to get. I don't. That's the Spider-Man issue. Was it issue? Is it issue 9? I think the first appearance of the symbiote. That's the one that should be the Grail. Let's see. No one talks comics this late. Ash is your only guy. Well, that's nice to know that I have viewership by default. I'm like the person like who runs for city council or something because no one else ran, so I just win it by default. Like no one voted for me. I was unopposed. My channel only exists because no one else will do it. Let's see. Why the fuck would you put a shit artist on an amazing book? F Marvel. That is why I'm done reading 99% of comics. New comics, I should say. Jesus, I'm looking at Thor. Okay, so you're talking about Thor 7. I haven't even looked at Thor 7 yet. Well, that sucks to know that they put a shit artist on Thor 7. Because the book is pretty okay, I guess. The reason, though, honestly, Jimmy, is artists need a break. So I have to at least commend Marvel for not making Thor bi-weekly. It's a monthly book. The artist can do a monthly schedule. And then every once in a while, they need a little bit of time off, so they put a filler artist in. Hopefully, that's all that is. Hopefully, it's like 1 or 2 issues of filler artist. And then What's His Nuts is back on the book. If not, well, it's bad. But see, here's the thing, too. Marvel can't afford talent. Marvel sucks. Marvel can't afford Marvel in 2021, you're going to see Marvel go down the tubes because they're going to be doing what DC's already done, doing bunches of layoffs and all that stuff. They already have shitty page rates. Anyone who's got talent tries to leave Marvel and go over to DC because DC pays better. Also, DC seems to care more about their books. So if you're a creator, you at least feel like you have more integrity. It sucks because I like Marvel. I'm a Marvel guy. But DC's winning me over too. DC's got some cool stuff. RDB says Thor 7 was great. You're insane. I don't know. I haven't read the book yet. I know he's just talking about the art though, I think. I don't think he's talking about the story. And Venkman, you seem to you seem to be oblivious. That's not the right word. You are very forgiving on art. You're, to me at least, from talking to you, you seem to be a guy who, as long as the story is up your alley, it could be just about anyone doing the art. But then back to defend your point, Jimmy likes the dude who did Jessica Henderson's art on Squirrel Girl. So I don't know what to say, Jimmy. you like Jessica Henderson, so I don't know what you're complaining about art. I want Doom 2099 issue 25 special cover. Bad story, but I like a lot for some reason. I might have that issue. I gotta go dig my old comics. I've seen far worse art. Don't complain about a book you aren't even reading. He's reading Thor. What are you talking about? Let's see. I created Hank Hill in Soul Calibur 6. Comics with Jimmy says the story has to match the art. That's exactly what I said to you, Jimmy, back in Batman Superman issue 7 when they put that Nick Darrington dude on it, and they took Marquez off the book. He had this beautiful art by David Marquez, 1 through 6, and then issue 7 is like, record scratch, here comes Nick Darrington. You're like, what the bleep and what? And then you were like, no, it's so good, Ash. And to that, I say, karma is a bitch. Be happy Riley Rossmo isn't doing art for everything. We can make it happen. Don't make me mad. Riley Rossmo should only be allowed to draw Martian Manhunter or Venom. I think he could do Venom. Okay, when he draws like weird twisted things that aren't looking human, he doesn't look that bad. It's only when he draws humans. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look at this Thor 7, since you guys are all talking about it so much. Now I got the McDonald's thing in my head. Aaron Cooter. Ugh. This is... So here's the number one thing that stands out to me. I understand you need to put a fill-in artist from time to time, but you should find a fill-in artist who has a similar visual aesthetic as the main artist, so that it's not so shocking. When I look at this is the same effect I had when I opened up Batman Superman number 7, and you're like, Nick Darrington versus Marquez, not even close. Okay, this is a cheat. You didn't even draw anything. You just drew a hammer in the ground. I mean, honestly, I don't think this art is bad, but I will agree it's not fitting the book. This is very much... This is not Marvel comic art. This is something I would expect to see on an indie book, you know. But it's actually solid illustration. It's just the aesthetic is way off the regular guy. I forget the regular guy's name. Let's see. Yeah, RDV says it's image art. Yeah, I could see that guy doing image stuff for sure. We need the artist from Ultimate Spider-Man to draw more current stuff. You like the art in the Ultimate Spider-Man? He's not a good artist. This guy is a better artist than that. Jimmy says that art was okay. It actually gets horrible right after that page. All right. Well, I can't see. If art should match the book, Bronny says, then Bendis and King should be forbidden to be paired with Ivan Rice and Clay Mann. Zing! Oh, man. Marani gets the zing of the night. Both artists are leagues ahead of the writers in terms of quality. Boom! Drop the hammer. Pun intended. We're going to end up with that. Thank you, Marania, for letting that. That is what we needed. Clay Mann and Tom King, Ivan Rice Brian Michael Bendis, just completely art overshadowing writer quality. 100%, 100%. Why can't you put Clayman on with someone like, can you imagine for a second Robert Venditti getting Superman and Clayman doing the art? Oh, sweet. Sweet. All right, we're leaving it there. Thank you so much, guys, for putting up with my nonsense, my opinions. Everything I say here is just me being honest with my feelings, not judgmental in any way towards you. That's just the way that it is. I feel like if you're going to listen to someone, you should listen to someone who has opinions and not just milquetoast who just says what you want to hear. I hope you guys are reading good comics. I've been reading some good comics lately, and I look forward to reading more. I will see you guys Sunday, I hope, and